Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. At the time of filming today, we have markets absolutely sliding. Here we have the S&P 500, for example, down by 0.54% today. Have a look at some others. We can see the Nasdaq down by 1.2 and the Russell down by 0.8, with the Dow Jones just breaking into the neutral, slightly green territory at the time of filming. Now, we do still have a couple of hours to go, again at the time I'm filming this. However, this update is likely to be as much relevant in a few hours and a few days as it is right now. We're going to be talking, as you can imagine, about Bitmain Immersion, a stock that we've been talking about for quite some time now. And as we have seen this trend now, especially today, really start to accelerate where things move to the downside, it's time to really get serious and start thinking about what might come next. In this video, I'll be giving you my personal thoughts and opinions on what that might be, especially given the updated circumstances that we are seeing in today's trading session at the time of filming. Now, do remember, of course, this is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. This is simply based on my personal thoughts and opinions and what I am seeing. If you do enjoy the video, though, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Anyway, let's jump straight in. And the first thing that I want to acknowledge today, as I'm sure you can imagine, is, well, what a drop we have seen. We have seen this one really begin to fall. Zoom into the 5-day chart, and this, in context, you can see, just adds to a prolonged trend. We're now seeing this obviously slightly accelerate. Again, the 1-month chart shows this perhaps even better, as we can see the continuation of this decline. Over the past couple of months, we've seen this stock really grow. Prices just a few months ago were sat at $5. Then we went to highs well above 120, 130. Now, however, after seeing this run up to really about the $60, $70 range, we're now seeing a little bit of a drop. And I think this is something that we should pay attention to, especially given the continuation of that drop into today's trend. I think there are a few things to consider here, and a few things now we've got a bigger picture, right? Again, now we're seeing previous levels of support that, if you've been watching for the last couple of days, previous levels that we wanted to hold up drop quite significantly. We've got to reassess. We absolutely do. Now, my opinion here is that the trend has somewhat changed. Again, mid to long term, as in maybe in the next few days, weeks and months, so in the midterm at the very least, we might see this one bounce. However, right now, I am now questioning what the future looks like for this one in the next few days. I think there absolutely is a potential. Again, zoom out to the 3-month chart again. I think there's absolutely a potential now that we could see this one drop even further. I mean, look into where we are right now and look back to what we've seen. There is a case to be made that we've seen previous levels of support around this level. However, again, zoom in a bit closer to where we are now. This deceleration trend, this slowdown trend, and again, this essentially downtrend just continues to be picking up. And you could make the argument, or you could have made the argument perhaps yesterday or so, that we were seeing this bull flag starting to form, right? But it seems that the pattern has broken and we're now moving to the downside. Now, the interesting thing is we are now filling up that gap that we saw just appear when we went from, of course, the range around 50 to 68. So that's completely filled now, and we're way back down. Over the last few days, we've been in the process of doing that. However, now we're actually dropping below this point. And if this level of support doesn't hold up at roughly 56, it's likely that we could go even lower, potentially to the 40 range, 30 range, possibly even. I think that is an absolute possibility. Now, I only say this in context, and I know this might not be the most optimistic video, but I'm giving you both sides, and I'm also giving you my opinion, right? So it's your choice, guys. Do what you want. If you disagree with my videos, that's fine. But in my opinion, there's one thing that we can say almost for certain, right? Never 100%, but almost. And that is that we have seen solid levels of support with this stock around 30. Zoom back to here, and you can see that we've seen this level 30, 50, 31 holding up for a very prolonged period. Even after this major rise that we've seen, this 30 mark has held up. At the very least, you could look to the 40 mark, which to some degree has had the same amount of significance. If you guys are ready to get serious about trading for less than the price of a coffee every day, I've got to tell you about the new Patreon page that I have just launched. That's right, guys, I have a new Patreon. I'm going to be sharing everything on here, from my personal stocks that I am watching to pre-market updates, as well as a Discord group which I have started. It's going to allow you to access similar-minded, like-minded people who are also interested in sharing their knowledge about the markets. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff over here, guys. There's going to be a lot of exclusive content coming in the next couple of weeks. But do bear in mind, for most of the tiers, spots are limited. The Market Scout, where you'll gain access to the Discord, prices will change after 150 members. At the moment, guys, I'm limited for time, so the Trader's Edge course and above, we're limiting the courses even lower, right? There's a limited amount of people who can join. At the same time, depending on the level of mentorship that you want, we have prices going all the way up from 1450 to the highest tiers over here that you can see. Again, if you're looking to take your journey to that next level, on these middle tiers, this is personally the one that I would recommend, even though it's not the most expensive. It costs less than a coffee every single day, and the amount of information that you'll get here, in my personal opinion, is absolutely worth the value. At the very least, guys, you can become a member for free. The link is down in the description, the comment section, and the bio. Just give it a look and see what you think. And of course, feel free to sign up if you're looking to take your journey even further. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video. So, especially considering the fact that we don't really have any major supports anywhere near where we are right now, no major ones to report on, and considering that we've broken below levels that we were looking for in the last trading session, I think there's some possibility here that we could see this one continue to slide as things go on. Now, another thing to note here, and again, this is more of a psychological point, but these rather large drops that we see from time to time tend to scare people, right? They tend to make people nervous. They tend to make people lose hope. Is there a possibility that we're going to see the price drop slightly more because of that? Well, possible, right? It's not impossible. However, more broadly, I would say either way, I think there's a high likelihood now that this one could drop as low as the 40 range, as in 40 on the dot, as low as the 30 range. I don't see that as being an impossibility at all. I think at the very lowest, we've got 40 to fall to, possibly, in the next couple of days. I think at the lower level after that, we could be falling to the 30 mark. And that's still not bad. I think, you know, we need to reassess, and that's why I make videos on these stocks daily. We need to reassess as things go on. My opinion will change as the trend changes. That's why I give you guys updates. We've got to stay agile in this market. We've got to stay aware in this market. And now, that pattern that we were looking for over the last day or so, it just hasn't held up, right? There was a possibility today that we could have potentially broken out and gone up to a bull flag. We haven't seen that. We've seen the opposite. We've seen us moving down. And now that we're breaking away from key levels of support on the upside, or even where we were, it looks like there's that potential that we're going to see this one hit 30, 40 potentially. Again, 40 I think is a best case scenario now. Again, I'd love to tell you all that this stock's going to go continuously up, and I might be wrong. I hope I am. I hope this stock opens up tomorrow and has a massive run. However, as I see it right now, in reality, it's quite likely that this one's going to see some difficulty. It's quite likely that this one's going to see some trend change for now. Is that necessarily bad? No. Again, we've got these previous levels that have held up 40, 30. Not too weak levels at all. And at the same time, we're still up major from these big runs. But now we've got to ask the question, you know, how long can this trend continue? Is it going to flip around? Are we going to find a new support? Again, there's always that possibility, but from where I am right now, I think the levels that we were looking for, they just haven't held up. They just haven't held up at all. So a push to 40 down isn't the worst thing in the world, potentially presenting a better opportunity, and a push down to 30, arguably the same. Either way, I think this trend of redness might continue into tomorrow. I think that's absolutely possible, and I think at this point we've just got to accept it for what it is. It's not necessarily bad on the long term, depending on what your strategy is, depending on what your opinion is. But for me, if I was looking to add stock, if I didn't hold stock and was looking to get in, I'd just wait for those better prices, right? You guys can do what you want. This is just my opinion. But if I was playing this one, that's how I would play it. I'd consider that, and I'd be looking for those levels at least at 40, maybe in the next few days, maybe in the next week or two. And at the very least, that is going to be a better entry potentially. Then you've got the argument for 30, even lower than that. That's just my thoughts on this one, right? That's just my personal thoughts. We're nowhere near these levels of support yet. We don't have any levels of support close, and when this one does move, be it up or down, we do tend to see these big moves. It looked like we were starting to form some consolidation in the last few days, but after lower highs and lower lows, this trend continuing today, and a break even further to the downside, I think there is going to be this prolonged push. Just my personal thoughts on this one. If you enjoyed the quick video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I do hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now, guys. See you later.